Hello and welcome. It is Kristen from Life of Crafting, and I started a new series where I want to do at least once a month one of these sheetload of cards from CallMe Crafty Allie. I think it's Allie. Is it Al? Allie? Call me Al. Call me Al. CallMe Crafty Al. So I started last month with the premise that I would do one a month, and there's 12 prints in a 12 by 12 pack of paper from Stampin Up. And I started it with, I think it was like Floral Bouquet or something. It was the black and white, the navy blue and white paper pack. And when I started looking at this and dissecting it, there is, you're gonna get 6 cards if you used 6 by 6 pattern papers, which would be a sheet and a half of 12 by 12. And you would use 3 solid cardstocks of one size and 3 of another. And when I looked at that, the design calls for 3 different types of papers because of the way this layout is you have 1 large rectangle, 2 thin strips, and a large rectangle. I debated about trying to pull, because they do have a front and the back. They do print front and back on Stampin' Up's paper, and they did do like a predominantly navy one on one side and a predominantly white one on the other side, but it was just too monochromatic. So here's the paper pack I have been holding on to. This is an old Stampin' Up set called Domestic Goddess. I have loved this paper pack. I don't even know how old this is. I found this on eBay and it had already been discontinued for a while. I don't see a copyright date. So I will briefly go through this paper pack with you so you can see the prints. And I've already started picking them apart. This is the one I want to use for this long rectangle on the front. I did the math, and for one of these sheets, I'm gonna get 4. I'm gonna have to lay them out this way. They're 3 inches by 3.5, I think is how you cut this. I'm thinking I should be able to do it this way as well. We'll see. So this will be my long sheet. The back is got just a tone-on-tone type of yellow print, but they did do this where they put this one in the corner. Like I said, I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to use up this front. I do have 2 paper packs here. I have a new one, and then I have this one that I opened. So those are what I'm thinking for is the main focal point one on the front. Then you have the 2 strips, and I'm thinking that I'm going to use this paper from the paper pack. Again, they did these great for scrapbooking, but I don't see card making that I would do too much with this side. So if I cut this sheet up, I would get, actually for the 2 sheets, I would get 16 fronts. I'll get 8 from each one. And then this sheet will give me 24. So I may be pulling in this other paper pack. We shall see. Then you have a 3rd print that is on the bottom. If you can see where I'm going with this, I'll layer these up. Then for the bottom, this is another paper from the pack. It is this beautiful, fun plaid. That's a great summer color. They have this print on the back, but again, that doesn't do anything for me. I want to do this. So this is kind of what I'm thinking right here. This on the bottom, this on the sides, and maybe I should do it this way. So this is what I'm thinking, and the colors in this paper pack were their basic gray, their Calypso Coral color, their Daffodil Delight, and Pool Party. So I have some great summer colors I can pull into this. I think you're supposed to have a layer here of cardstock. I'm going to use Pool Party here. I think I'm going to use my Calypso Coral for what they're saying is a flag going across here. Then you're supposed to have like an image or a die cut and a sentiment. I'm gonna have to see what I have. I know I have some cute baking stuff that I'm thinking I can use for this die cut image. So I will go through my stuff for that. So the rest of the papers in this paper pack are this great gingham. that has this all over domestic goddess print. Again, that is just phenomenal. Great. Can you just see? This is my other thought, was I may do this down below, but they were too close. The prints are the same. And then you have this one that's like a banner one. Like I said, this one was great. That did it for me. And then this one's a little boring. This one has like suns, looks like a sun starburst print on it. And then the back is this really like kind of, I don't know if they're florals or stars or what that's supposed to be. This one doesn't really do much for me either way, but we'll see how we can use that up. So I'm thinking of this right now. I don't know. That's too busy. There's too much to use with that. I don't know, maybe that gray one I just had that I said didn't really do anything? Maybe that would be a nice alternative. No, I think it really kind of, if I went with that, I think it really kind of toned it down. It really, this is the main one. I'm gonna do this, and these two were definites. I don't know about the third one. We'll see how we can bring in the cardstock and do that. So for right now, I'm gonna shut this off, and I'm going to start with cutting this paper. And like I said, I know I'm gonna have scraps left over from this. And whatever I use, I'll have some scraps too, because like I said, I don't need 24 if I'm just doing the one. I may save the other. So this is what we're gonna work on now, and I figured, you know what? I gotta make it fun. And the other paper, and this was just not gonna be fun. So when I can get back to one that has just 2 sheets, that's what I'll do. So hope you're on board with me, and gonna ride this one out. I'll see you for now. It's Kristen. I'm back with, this is what I came up with for the sketch for the Sheetload of card from March of 2022. And I did these papers here for this one, as I explained before. This is what I came out with for here, and I do have, I'm using the top and the bottom. See, that has the top, and there's the bottom. I have the plaid. The flag hides the seam, sentiment, and an image. So for me to do this, just wanted to show you, I was going to put one together. I just used, this was a card I used a lot of scraps. I had the full sheets, but then I went in my bin and I pulled out, I did have ones that were this light orange. I don't know if you can tell from here. It's a much lighter orange, but it still matched. So I was able to get rid of all of that. These are ones I'm still working on. I pulled out whatever scraps of yellow that was in this like Daffodil Delight color from Stampin' Up. They don't have to be any specific width. That's why you'll see I have different widths of them, because I was just trying to use them up. The length is pretty much consistent because, again, you need to hide this seam here. But to stretch my paper out, I'm only doing these in this smaller strip. And I wanted to show you was how I did this, is I did have to, because the strip got cut in half, so I have to keep it right to the top edge. And then I'm going to put it over here on this one. And again, I can't let it go beyond because I need it for the full, it's a full length. If you notice, I don't have a top or bottom margin there to display. I did have to make sure some of my papers, you can see my plaid's not really going straight. I don't know what I did. Actually, that's a little bit better. So what I wanted to show was, this was great too, because I was able to, I can actually kind of pull this and leave a gap because my plaid wasn't really straight. I'm going to hide it with this flag here, so it doesn't really matter that I had that gap. I wanted to straighten out my my plaids more. But this was just some, I wound up going in my bin. I have my scraps stored by color. If it goes with a paper pack like my Stampin' Up, it goes with that color, but I have some that are just, if you're like me, you probably have random ones that you don't know really where they came from. When I get scraps for them, they go in a bin by color, and I just picked out my purple one and a color that's been in there for a while that I just wanted to get rid of. And I said, you know what? It's got to go. So I already put those strips on, and I'm putting this in the center so I don't have a big dip in there. And then I'm just going to glue this on the front, but you'll see, because there's all these different layers. The top, I made sure I got all of them straight. But this one, if you look, I have all this overhang from all the different papers. And I love the tiny trimmer because I just take and line this up, and I'm going to just take a tiny bit off the edge. And this trimmer is great because it'll get through all of that. And look, I now have like just that little bit that it didn't cut off, but I can just get that with my scissors. And now you don't even see that I had all those layers in there. So that is how I did that. And then to finish this off, I used the, let me bring these in. This is the Honeybee Baked with Love. Well, You Bake Me Happy is the sentiments. And I have the matching dies for those sentiments, which is why I love those. And then I also have the Baked with Love, which they're a companion release to each other. And I used the mixing bowl, the spoon, and the spatula from this set. And it was really easy. I tried to pull the colors from the paper into this. And I made the mixing bowl. I used the Cool White, I'm talking about Copic sketch markers. I used the C1 and the C3 to do the bowl. And then for the aqua colors, I used BG11 and BG13. I know it's 1-1, but 1-3. Moon White and Mint Green were those colors to give the bowl that effect. And I have that popped up on some foam dots. And then I had a little bit of a tough time trying to get together the browns I wanted to use. So I wound up doing the E29 on just the edge of it, and then E25, and I just did like one layer in the center of the color to try and keep it so I didn't have to bring a lot more color in and give it a little bit of depth so it looks like the bowl. There's like a bowl on the end of the spoon there. So those were the two colors I used there. Then I was trying to remember, like, you know, this is a very retro pattern, so I was trying to think of like what my grandmother had, and I remember she always had that plastic handled like Tupperware spatula. So for that, I went with the W1 and the W3 on the what was the rubber part of it, because I wanted to give contrast to the bowl. And then the handle was the YR23 and the YR21. So that was all the colors I used. And what I had to do was, for the bowl, I had to use my like X-Acto knife to just give it a little bit of a slit right along this rim. And then I could just push my, when I fussy cut these, because I didn't want the white on the edges of it the way you get on the bowl. So I fussy cut it, and they were so fast and so easy. But you can just push these in that little slit and, you know, adjust them to whatever height you wanted, because I didn't want them exactly the same. I kind of wanted them looking. And then when I did my glue on the back, I just glued them down. And that was how I got them. And then the sentiment was, like I said, from that honeybee one, and I popped that up with some as well. So this was what I came up with for the March 2022 Sheetload. I was getting 8 cards out of each paper, and I mean that was every 12 by 12. I do have, because again each pack has 2, I did have quite a bit of this pattern left, and this is still left from my original sheet of the plaid. So what I decided I'm going to do, because again I don't want to have a bunch of scraps left, I still have these strips that were the top and the bottom of what the printed paper had on it. So I still have those, and then this came out of each center of the sheets. So what I did was I cut the strip. I got this for the bottom, and I got, of course I can't get one from you. This was the top. So every 3-inch strip had one of these in the middle. So I still have this left, and I have these. What I'm going to do next is do the same card and use these, but I'm going to bring in, and this is the width of it, I'm going to bring this in, and because I don't have like that rickrack design, I found in my stash some of these strips. I have almost exactly, I have 8 of these left, I have 7 of these. I'm going to bring this in and just wrap this around the back, and I feel like that is going to give me what I need to hide a seam and then use up the rest of these scraps. So I should have another 8 cards. So by the time I'm done, I'm going to have 24 of these cards done from the 2 sheets of this pattern. My guess is I'm going to use up probably just 1 sheet here and probably all of this. So I'll use up 5 sheets of the paper out of the 12, and I'll get 24 cards for this. And to me, this is a lot of printed paper on this, so I'm not disappointed that I'm getting 24. I think that's going to be a pretty nice card, and again, I'm using these for giveaways. I thought it would be a really good Mother's Day card I may make for my mother, and they'd make a good birthday. So I have a niece's birthday coming up, and I have my Mother's Day card that I need to come up with. So between them, I feel like I'm going to use them for one of them. And this is a scrap I just had left, and this is from one cardstock sheet after cutting I have left. So that I'm definitely going to be able to use up the scraps in this. So I'm very happy. I hope you're liking this. I'm going to use this for part of my yellow in April for Anna Wight's hashtag. Hers is, if anything has yellow, use that hashtag, and that way we can check out everybody's that has yellow. I'm looking forward to seeing more for this weekend. And then I'm also going to do this for a Saturday morning makes. Today is Tuesday, but yes, I do have my free time right now, so this is when I'm going to be using it. Jill Norwood has been hosting a hashtag called Satmore Makes, and you can post anything on there that you want, and it's great because it brings everybody together to see what everybody else is doing. Some people have been crocheting, some have been doing regular craft projects, but there's all kinds of stuff, so check out everybody else's. If you're finding inspiration for my stuff, I would really appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button, and I will be back with even more of the Satmore Makes. And I'm definitely going to keep going with this sheetload of cards. I'm finding that to be a really good inspiration, and they're not really taking long because a lot of the dimensions have been thought out for you. So I appreciate your time. May you have a wonderful day.